Hello, everyone. Tonight we are going to have a discussion on asylum. It's a very topical area of the law under the immigration law in the UK. And I'm going to obviously take my time to explain to viewers what is currently happening in regard to the asylum law or the refugee status. So tonight I'll be looking at the background to the Uk-Rwanda refugee agreement, which was signed on the 13th of April 2022 in Kigali, the capital of Rwanda. Now, obviously, this agreement is going to make huge difference to the asylum law in the UK, or the Refugee Convention, which UK is a signatory to. So tonight I'm taking my time to explain the implications for those who, one or reason or the other, may seek to claim asylum, or those who may want to acquire refugee status for one reason or the other. Now, as is quite clear to most of us already, it's been declared that whenever someone is seeking asylum from hence, then obviously there is that possibility that that person may be removed to Rwanda. And I'm going to take my time to explain, because this is quite serious. I must state here that I am not here to criticize the policy. I am here to do my job as a solicitor of England and Wales by giving free legal advice to the public on their right and how I can enhance their understanding of what is already in immense circulation in the media. So what I'm seeking to do tonight is making sure that you, who perhaps have seen a lot of this stuff on the TV screens, get deeper understanding of the implications and the consequence, especially for those who may seek asylum or may want to acquire refugee status due to their protected characteristics. So tonight is an opportunity for all of us to learn, to have understanding of the agreement and how it may affect us and our family members. So if you have joined me tonight, we do this program every Tuesday. We do the program Tuesday from 9 p.m. I'm a bit late tonight because I have a lot of workload, but I still have commitment as a solicitor from CITI Law Solicitors to fulfill our corporate social responsibility in making sure that people don't miss out on this beneficial legal our program that we bring to the public every Tuesday and Thursdays. So if you are joining me tonight, we do this program Tuesday in English and then on Thursday in Twi. And obviously, to talk about refugee status or asylum, we need to understand which people are entitled to be categorized or to be entitled to seek that refugee status. Currently, all countries who have signed up to the convention quite rightly are able to accept people who are fleeing persecution because of their political opinion or because of the fact that they are members of a particular social group, be it gay or lesbians, or those who are fleeing persecution, those who for one reason or the other they are fleeing from torture. So there are or those who are obviously, for example, those coming from Ukraine, running from they are suffering persecution from war, and therefore they look for safe haven in countries that there is peace, in countries that respect their rights as human beings. And therefore, UK, because UK is a signatory, most times people tend to come to the UK, for example, if they are free from persecution, or if because of the fact that they are gay or lesbian, they cannot live their life the way they want to live it in their country of nationality, then of course they may seek protection in a country that recognize these rights. Or if, for example, because of their political opinion, they are having persecuted by a state, then of course they may want to flee to that country, to a safe country. These terms needs to be defined tonight in my submission. And those because of maybe religion being persecuted, then of course they could also move to a safe country. But to give a background to what has happened, or what has culminated in the signing of Memorandum of Understanding between UK and Rwanda, then the background needs to be told so that people can have the understanding and why this agreement may affect them, be those who are potential asylum seekers or those who intend to seek asylum from the 1st of January. And I will probably want to take a short break for people, having given introduction of the topic, for people to join me in full readiness to discuss this program, because at the end of the program, I'm going to give people the opportunity to make phone calls and to ask questions. And obviously, if people have any question about any legal question whatsoever, if it's within my competency, then of course I'm going to give that free legal advice and answer those questions to the best of my knowledge. So don't go away, just stay tuned, and I'm going to come back in the next 2 minutes after a short commercial break, so that you can know what our main sponsor, which is CITI Law Solicitors, does. We don't just practice immigration. So don't go away, just stay tuned for this short commercial break, and I'm going to continue the discussion. I'm sure most of you want to know more about this Rwanda UK refugee agreement. So if you are one of those people who want to know much about this, then please don't go away. You can also share the video to your friends and family members who may stand to benefit immensely from such a educative program. Thank you. Don't go away. thank you for your patience. As I said tonight, I'm going to be here for a very short moment, but I'm going to discuss this topical area of the law. I'm sure most of you have seen it on your screen, so I'm going to take my time to explain this Rwanda, the Uk-Rwanda Memorandum of Understanding or Refugee Agreement. For those of you who have just joined us, I've already explained this from my introduction, and I'm going to take my time to explain this. So please feel free at the end of this show to ask any legal question, and I'm here to answer your question. This is a Legal Hour program brought to you by CITI Law Solicitors. So as I was gradually leading viewers to the substantive topic and to what extent it may affect them and their family members who are potential asylum seekers. As I've said that the Refugee Convention, UK is a signatory, so therefore it means that when people are fleeing persecution, either because of their religion, either because of their protected characteristics as gay, lesbians, either because of their political opinion, either because they are having to go through torture. But of course, along this, we also have the European Convention, again, which UK is also a signatory, and therefore we have the Human Rights Act 1998. So most times, if you're a lawyer, you know that you have these two weapons in your armory, or you have these two compatible areas of the law to work with, to obviously to support your client, because most times people may have this issue of torture which overlap under the human right or the European Convention on Human Rights. But tonight I'm here to discuss the famous, long-awaited refugee agreement between UK and Rwanda. And this agreement was signed on the 13th of April 2022. But there is a background to this agreement. Now, those of you in practice will probably be familiar that the Home Office published Asylum Casework Guidance on the 1st of January 2021. And in that guidance, there is what they call a claim being inadmissible. So normally, when people claim asylum or they say that they are suffering from torture and they are coming to the UK for refuge, and then they can only seek this asylum once they are at the shores of this country. So that's why you see on our TV screens people going through boat cross the channel, because they cannot seek asylum in the UK whilst they are in France or Dover, or whilst they are in Germany. They need to be at the shores of this country in order to be able to seek this asylum. And that is why you find out that people from Afghanistan, Syria, and some other countries in Africa crossing the channels to come all the way to the UK because they need to be physically present here in order to claim their refugee status. So this is why these people normally risk their life and come all the way to the shores of this country just to be able to seek right under the Refugee Convention, which UK is a signatory to. Or in some circumstances, some of them, if they have suffered from torture, then of course there is an overlap convention, which is the human right, under Article 3 of the European Convention on Human Rights, which UK is a signatory and came into force in law under the Human Rights Act 1998. So these guys have recourse to these laws in place, either international law or the human right. But in January, when the new casework guidance, all of you are now familiar that the Home Secretary have limited powers, and that's why sometimes they bring in statement of changes regularly. For example, there are concessions. Some of them are quite good. For example, people who have been here for less than those who are less than 25 years and have been here for half of their life after applying for leave for continuous 5 years, that is 230 months, they are now eligible to apply for indefinite leave to remain. This is a concession that has been made by the Home Secretary for the benefit of these people to be able to go to university because of the restrictions of them not being able to go to university because they have to be on a 10-year route. Now, currently, most of us are now aware that if a child is born in the UK and is 7 years old and has lived here continuously for 7 years, that child is entitled to apply for indefinite leave to remain, whilst in the past, this child will have to be on a 10-year route to indefinite leave to remain. Save that when the child is 10 years old, that child could also naturalize. But I am not here to discuss these things. I am just giving the background to the law that the Home Secretary have these powers to make these concessions. And they have these powers to make statement of changes. And people are saying that, oh, why has the Home Secretary bringing this policy? Of course, we all know that the bill in Parliament under Clause 15, which has some resemblance to what I'm going to discuss here, is still before Parliament. So I'm not going to discuss it tonight, the famous Clause 15, which most of you are very familiar. It talks almost the same thing. So most of you were waiting, or most of us were waiting that after the passage of that bill into law, then that famous Clause 15 would have enhanced the Home Secretary's ability to bring in place such form of agreement. But for those of you who know the law, you will know that the Home Secretary doesn't have to wait for this particular bill to pass because they have limited powers to bring in place certain statement of changes under the immigration rules and then asylum law. And that's exactly what has happened. So to give you the background, in January when the asylum casework guidance was changed, there is an inception of a clause that some claims could be rendered inadmissible. Now, when they say a claim is inadmissible, what it simply means is that the Home Secretary is not obliged to consider that particular application, which means that if you are seeking asylum or you want to get refugee status because of your protected characteristics or because of the fact that your liberty is restricted or because of your political opinion, then the Home Secretary might be able to say that your claim is inadmissible. But what we do know is that if someone makes a claim and that claim is admissible, then it means that that person will have the right to live in this country until such time that his claim would be considered and decision made on that particular claim, asylum claim. And that person will not be removed while this claim is pending. And we know that this claim sometimes can pen for a year or two or more. Some claims even penned for about years. So once the claim has been considered to be admissible, though you might not have the right to work as an asylum seeker, but you have a right to have an accommodation and feeding, though it is quite a small amount, but you have this right if your claim is admissible, your asylum claim, to be precise. And therefore, it is important that your claim becomes admissible so that you can exercise this right or to have these benefits. So in January, when the Home Secretary brought in these changes, it was categorically stated that if your claim is inadmissible, which means that if, for example, you are a Syrian and you travel from Greece to France and all the way to the UK, and then you sought asylum, then the question is that, was it reasonable and practical that all these third countries that you have passed through to come to the UK, who are equally signatories to the Refugee Convention, you could have sought asylum in those countries? And therefore, it means that these third countries where you could have reasonably sought your asylum and you refused to do so and came to the UK, then the UK government could say that your claim is inadmissible. Now, we had some of these things under the Brothers Convention when we were members of the European Union, where they expect that if you are coming from the EU country, then you could reasonably seek your asylum there. And we left the EU, so we can see that the Home Secretary is quite smart, because there is always putting in place compatible laws to protect the interests of the citizens of the UK. Of course, that is her job, and I have huge respect for it. But the point here is that people's claim could be inadmissible, but the difficulty is, how do you then define a safe country? A country that you are saying is safe. So if you are from Ghana, for example, and you pass through a particular country to come to the UK, then of course, you could have reasonably sought asylum in that country where you passed before you came to the UK. So there is then a definition of a safe country. And that safe country, obviously, is a country that you can express your political opinion freely. You can live your life without restriction to your liberty because of your protected characteristics, in this case, whether you are gay or lesbian. Or you can live your life in a way that you want to live it and not have restrictions on your religion. There are some countries you cannot either pray as a Christian, there are some countries you cannot pray as a Muslim. So those countries may not be reasonably safe for you if you are claiming that you are either a Muslim or a Christian. So these countries might not be safe for you. So it means that there is a hurdle for the Home Secretary to pursue that change that was meant to frustrate and make it difficult for people applications to be considered not to be inadmissible. But having defined what the admissibility of a claim and what inadmissibility of a claim is by looking at safe third countries, it means that the Home Secretary needed to have a country that is safe and is willing to accept these people who are coming to this country to seek asylum. And which country was willing to be considered and to recognize itself as a safe country so that these people could be sent out there and still be safe as if they were in the UK. And this is why we have the famous Rwanda UK Memorandum of Understanding or Refugee Agreement. So it means that the agreement that I've signed, and I'm sure viewers are following me quite attentively because there is quite legal jargon, but I'm taking my time slowly to explain them for the benefit of all of you who are watching me tonight. And therefore, what I'm saying here is that because of the fact that the inadmissibility of the claims, obviously it was difficult hurdle. And as I talked to you, that there is a case of Afghanistan versus the Secretary of State where someone was illegally removed under the same circumstances or similar circumstances I'm describing, that the Home Office need to pay damages for illegally removing that person. But I'm not here to bore you with legal jargons and cases, but I'm here to explain this agreement in a layman's terms so that you can understand what is happening and why we have this famous Rwanda UK refugee agreement in place, which was signed between the UK and Rwanda in Kigali on the 13th of April 2022. So this agreement, as I've already said, that countries need to be considered to be safe in order for people to be able to live there and live there freely by not having restrictions on their freedom of expression, their political opinion, their religion, their protected characteristics, as for example, gay, lesbian. So Rwanda has volunteered and have agreed to enter into this arrangement with the UK. And therefore now, if you came to this country to seek asylum from January, then with this agreement in place, the UK government may decide that you'll be sent to Rwanda whilst your application is being considered. And this might be lawful to the extent that Rwanda is now considered to be a safe country. And this agreement put in place, obviously, agreement is like a contract. There are terms and conditions. So this agreement in place is more or less a promise from Rwanda that if people are received, first and foremost, Rwanda need to, for those of you who are not familiar with the agreement, let me just go into a little bit of details for your benefit. Rwanda needs to agree to whoever is being sent to their country whenever they seek asylum in the UK. So if a Syrian, Afghanistan, or somebody from Turkey or any country, or even Ukraine, unfortunately, entered here illegally without using the scheme to come here, then that Ukrainian could be sent to Rwanda. So here you find out that this is not something that just affects people who are coming from Africa. But obviously it is the Home Office who will make the decision, so we don't know which people that could be hugely affected and those who may not be hugely affected. But I am not here for criticizing the policy. I'm here just to do my job as a solicitor of England and Wales to explain the law to people. Because I'm sure that sometimes when we do these videos, there are some people who have different opinions simply because we are conscientizing people of their right. They tend to be quite abusive, but we are doing our job to enlighten people so people know their right, and it's part of our corporate social responsibility, and we are doing this within the law. So for those of you who normally put these comments just because we are making people aware of their right, you are also entitled to your own opinion. But I'm not here to criticize the policy. I'm here to explain the law tonight. And as I'm saying, first condition is that Rwanda needs to accept whoever is coming into their country under the agreement. So which means that if Rwanda have not approved of that person to come to their country, then Home Office might have difficulty exporting that person, that asylum seeker, to that country. And the other condition is that Rwanda also have to give guarantee, which they have under the agreement, that whilst that person is there, they will be safe. They will be able to exercise all those rights as a free country, just like the UK, which means that they will be able to practice their religion as a Christian or a Muslim. They will be able to have different political opinion. They will be able to, obviously, if they are gay and lesbian, I'm not sure, because if you look at the country guidance, I think there is an issue there, but I'm not here to go there. Perhaps at the end of my submission, I'm going to talk about the difficulty and the challenges that Home Office may also go through in their attempt to just export people simply because they are claiming asylum in the UK. But having said this, Rwanda needs to make sure that their country is a safe country based on the definition that I've just given to viewers. But having said that, then it means that whilst people are there, obviously they also need to have accommodation. And perhaps Rwanda may even allow them to work in their country, or I don't know, it's not so well explained in the agreement. But what this means is that people seeking asylum these days need to seek proper legal advice. They need to make sure that when they are seeking this asylum, they have obtained the best advice, not from anyone, but somebody who knows the law and understands the law. Because seeking asylum may result in you being exported as a commodity to Rwanda. So you may travel all the way from all these countries as a Syrian, maybe you go through Greece, you come through France, and eventually end up in the UK through the channel on the boat, and eventually you get exported to Rwanda, because this agreement is in place to ensure that asylum seekers can be exported to that country, which in the Home Secretary's view is a safe country. So you realize that from the point of the guidance being introduced in January 2021, where claims for the first time were considered to be inadmissible if people have traveled through safe third countries to the UK, then they must show that they must give reason why they didn't seek asylum in those countries, and if they are not able to do that, their claims could be considered to be inadmissible. But obviously, those countries, because of the Brussels Conventions and other issues that I'm not here to go into details, may not be able to accept these people. But of course, if Rwanda is accepting these people, then of course the UK government can freely export them safely to those countries while their asylum applications are pending. So it means that whilst those people are there, as I've said, they might be able to exercise all these rights they would have exercised in this country. And if their claim is successful, the agreement does not give much information about it. You may end up still living in Rwanda because it's still a safe country. You are running from your country because of war, or because you cannot express your political opinion. So if Rwanda is a safe country and there's an agreement between UK and Rwanda, and they are willing to accommodate and host you and provide you accommodation and everything, then of course that is a country that you are going to live perhaps for the rest of your life, whilst you are still recognized as a refugee. So I want viewers to take note of this. And that is why it's so essential that before people seek asylum, they obtain proper legal advice so that they don't end up seeking asylum in the UK and then they wake up the next morning, they are in Rwanda, Kigali, capital of Rwanda. But of course, I am sure that there are going to be legal challenges for various reasons. And every case, as lawyers, we always say, and Home Office normally use this word, every case is unique. The reason every case is unique is that people might be able to have some barriers to their removal to Rwanda because of perhaps a breach of UK's convention. So if UK's removal result in a breach of the European Convention, for example, under Article 3, then those people may bring a legal challenge against their removal. Or if those people can claim most of these people who perhaps are coming from Syria is because they have family members in the UK. Or for example, those who are coming from Ukraine is because they have family members in the UK. So they might also make a claim under the human right that they have family members here. But of course, people must, from the 13th of April and from today when I'm doing this Legal Hour show, be aware that seeking asylum or trying to gain refugee status is not something that people need to have proper legal advice before they make those moves, because there is the possibility that they will end up in Rwanda. I have been talking for some time now, and I'm sure that some of you have joined me tonight, and it's important that I acknowledge you for joining me tonight. Obviously, I'm always privileged to have all of you on board, and without you, of course, this program would be a waste of CITI Law Sources time. So I must say that I'm grateful to Tekaupa Edwards all the way from Nigeria. I'm sure some of my Nigerian brothers and sisters, when they suffering persecution for various reasons, they also do seek asylum. So this is a very good advice for you and for those of you who are watching, and I treat you to share it to each and everyone who needs to have understanding of these new changes, these changes that have come into play. I have Kofi Amwaten, I have Emilia Chiamua, I have Ebele, and I'm very privileged to have all of you here. Kofi Amwaten watching, I have Ebele Opa watching, I have David Bell watching, I have Chide Duru watching, and I have Kofi Amwaten all over. Thank you so much. I have Ellen Amasa Desam watching in Chiopa. I have Benji Blackson watching. I have Sophia Asong who says I have Dua Hamidi. I hope you will share it with your Nasnas who may need such useful advice. Dua said it's very useful information. Yes, it is very useful information. It's a very good update. I have Yeboah Best Man watching. I have Everest Amponsa watching. I have Moses Ando, my school father, all the way from University of Ghana, Legon, watching tonight. Moses, thank you so much for joining the program. I have Helen Ade, who is also watching. I have Stefano Brenya watching, Everest Amponsa watching, Gabriel Bankori. Gabriel, thank you so much for coming on board. Stephen Stanilos Aka, that's my nephew, Reverend Father or a priest, all the way from Ghana watching tonight. I have Gabriel Bankori. I have Joe Chaka, MC Chaka, who is a host and a member of this TV show, who is also watching. I have Mame Akosua, highly favored Priscilla watching. I want to thank all of you for watching this educative program tonight, and I want to entreat you to share this program because this is something that affects all of us, and even the Ukrainians who are coming. Obviously, I don't know how Home Office seeks to make their decisions, but if they come outside the scheme that allows them to make visa applications and come to the UK to join family members, then these Ukrainians may end up being sent to Rwanda. If they entered here illegally, for example, they went to Moldova, Lithuania, and they went round and eventually ended up in the UK because perhaps their men can't leave the country. And this law applies to most of the men. So you have these Ukrainians who perhaps they want to be involved in fighting, be involved in the Russian war, and therefore trying to flee against their will, not to fight, and therefore they may not be able to make use of the scheme that allows Ukrainians to come to the UK. Then these Ukrainians will find themselves in a very hot weather, from the snow to the heat of Africa. So this is a quite serious stuff that I'm talking about tonight. And for those of you, with respect to you, with your racist opinion, this is a law that affects everyone, black and white. And I'm here as I repeat myself, because I know that after this program, some of you will be putting comments. I'm here as a solicitor for England and Wales to give people advice on the laws that affect people. And my advice to them is to seek proper legal advice, because of course I have huge respect for the UK in terms of the legal framework, and I'm sure, as I said coming to the end of my submission, that I'm sure there will be a lot of legal challenges, because the law is there for people to use, and people need to have proper legal advice. At this point, I'm going to open the phone lines. If people have questions, this is the time for them to ask those questions. You can see the phone lines on the screen, and I am here to answer any legal question. It might not be anything to do with what I've discussed tonight, but for those of you who have been joining CITI Law's program on CITI Media TV, we discuss various areas of the law on this platform. And therefore, I am here well prepared for your questions. If you have any legal question and it falls within my area of practice, I am very happy and willing to answer this question, even if it does not concern what I have discussed tonight. But obviously tonight I have discussed the Asylum law. I have looked at the Refugee Convention. I have looked at the European Convention on Human Rights and the law on the Human Rights Act 1998. And obviously, I have forewarned people that whenever they are seeking asylum, it's important that they take into account the fact that there have been changes which has come into place on the 13th of April 2022, because the UK has now signed an agreement with Rwanda, what they call the Memorandum of Understanding between UK and Rwanda, to export asylum seekers, especially men without families, to go and live in Rwanda while the applications are being considered. And of course, if Rwanda, which has now been considered in the Home Secretary's view to be a safe country, then you can live there for the rest of your life, or including when you are, say, recognized as a refugee, until your country becomes safe. So if you are coming from Ukraine and you don't use the scheme, you probably live in Rwanda until such time that the Russia invasion comes to an end, and then you can go back to your country. So this is the law, this is the changes that has come into place that affects not just whites and blacks, but all of us and our families. And it is for this reason that CITI Law Solicitors has brought this program to you tonight to advise people to be aware of what is happening around them. And of course, I have said that I am not here to criticize the policy. I'm here as a lawyer to explain the law to people so that people know they are right. And I'm repeating myself because I know what happens whenever I try to educate people on their right and the kind of stuff that people sometimes write, which is something that we do within the confines of the law. Now, whilst waiting for people to come out with their questions, which is free legal advice, I am going to take opportunity to advertise our sponsor to you tonight. The sponsor for this program, obviously, is CITI Law Solicitors. Now, if you want to find CITI Law Solicitors, CITI Law Solicitors is located at Barking. It's very, very close to the Barking station. Once you get to the Barking station, you come out of the station and you turn right on the Cambridge Road, 50 Cambridge Road. You find a KFC and a Santander Bank. You just turn right, and then you find, just by the traffic light, about 2 minutes walking distance from the Barking station, you find 50 Cambridge Road building. This is where City Law Services is located. Our office address is Unit 113 and 122. Unit 113 and 122, Barking Enterprise Center, 50 Cambridge Road, Barking, Access IG11 8FJ. Office telephone number is 02033550782. This is the office telephone number. I repeat, 02033550782, and the emergency contact number if you have been stopped at the border and you need a lawyer to drag you out. Don't go far. You can call the emergency number 0777-777-210-4967. City Law Solicitors will practice in numerous areas of law. We practice in immigration law, which is what I've had the opportunity to interact with you tonight on the Asylum law or the Refugee Convention. And we do all areas under the immigration law. We do asylum, we do European law is still ongoing because we're still doing the settlement scheme. We do the British nationality law, those who want to naturalize or register to become British, those who want to make application under the immigration rules, those who want to apply for sponsorship licenses for their businesses to recruit staff from abroad, those who want to apply for student visas, all kinds of areas under the immigration law. City Law Services is your one-stop. We also specialize in employment law. If you have been unfairly dismissed, if you have suffered discrimination because of your protected characteristics as a disabled person, because of your race, because of your ethnic background, because of your religion, or bullying and harassment at the workplace, and you want to make a claim for compensation for these breaches, City Law Services is here to support you and fight your case. And these cases are done on no win, no fee basis. It means that if we lose together. If we win together. This is the best that City Law Services brings to you. Family law of City Law Services is not just a solicitor firm. We are family law accredited. If you have a family law matter on the 6th of April, I'm sure most of you by now are aware that the divorce laws have changed. And those of you who are having problem with their divorce applications, and because of the law has changed, and or you want to make financial order, there are matrimonial assets that you want to find a better way to divide them so that none of the parties can be cheated. City Law Services is here to support you. If you are going through domestic abuse, you want to make non-molestation order, occupation order application. If you are being deprived of opportunities to see your child, and you want child arrangement order to be put in place for you, City Law Services is where to go to. And of course, we are willing and capable of providing you with the best legal advice and services. We also specialize in personal injury and clinical negligence. If you had an accident, either at the workplace last week, either at the workplace, people may have accidents at the gym. I did a topic on it last time. So those of you who are having accidents at the gym, those of you who are having accidents at the workplace, those of you who are having accidents on the shop floors, you don't just, one of my clients just told me, oh, I signed a sick note to get my company sick pay. And I advised my client, the company sick pay is not enough for you. You need the personal injury compensation for your injuries because you'll be admitted in the hospital for 2 weeks. So we specialize in these areas of law, and again, it's no win, no fee. This is why CITI Law Solicitors is the best place to come to, because you only win, and if you lose nothing. Commercial disputes and civil litigation, housing law, consumer law. I've been advising viewers on their consumer right in terms of insurance, companies trying to wriggle out of the claim. Media and entertainment, if you have trademark and you want to protect it, CITI Law Solicitors is a one-stop where all your legal needs can be met. So tonight it's been a privilege having you on board. For those of you who have joined us just now, I have been discussing asylum law. I have looked at the Rwanda refugee, Rwanda-UK refugee agreement, or the memorandum of understanding, which was signed on the 13th of April 2022. I have given detailed legal advice on this agreement and how it affects people who seek to seek asylum or to be recognized as refugee or to have refugee status. On Thursday, we are going to have this show in the same studio here with the famous MC Chaka in Chi. So my brothers and sisters, Minianum from Ghana, on Thursday we are going to have this show. I will take my time to explain all these things to you in the Chi language, so that all of you can benefit and understand and live your life in freedom, not fear. So that, because the best thing that can happen to someone is to know you're right in whichever country you live, so that you don't get into unnecessary trouble. If you know the speed limit, then obviously you might not drive above the speed limit. If you do, then of course you face the consequence. But if you don't know, ignorance of the law is not an excuse. That is why CITI Law Solicitors bring this show to you. And that's why I'm expecting maximum patronage. So share these videos to your friends and family members so that they can also benefit from this show. It's been opportunity, it's been privilege having you on board tonight. I'm so happy that most of you came to join the program, and it's been very, very, very educative, and I'm quite happy for all of you who joined this program, and those of you who have not been able to join. This video will still remain under the CITI Media TV Facebook platform or CITI Law Solicitors platform on YouTube. And then my own personal profile, Thomas Bebel, you can also watch it. I have a few people who have also joined the show. Emmanuel in Cancer, Kingsford, thank you, Mr. Cancer, thank you for coming on board tonight and to also watch the show. We have Kuzi Waters watching. I have Ebele, which I've already acknowledged. I have Wasim, who is watching tonight. Happy Ramadan. Can you display your landline number, please? We can see your number. Oh, yes. I think it's scrolling on the screen. But if somebody can put the landline on the screen for me, so that I'm not sure that somebody called just now. But whoever called that and I'm next, you can say call. I'm saying yeah. I haven't left the studio. I can see some 2 missed calls on the phone. I Wasim watching Highly Favored Priscilla, and can somebody put this phone number so that the landline can be displayed? I have Nka Chioma, said very nice. Ellen Amasa Desam. Ellen Amasa Desam watching Mami Akusua, Stephen Stenilos, which is my own cousin all the way from Ghana, Stephen Brunya, watching Joe Chaka. Yes, thank you all for coming to join the show. As I've said, on Thursday we are going to be here again. I came late, and I think I've been talking for almost 45 minutes now. So it's important that I bring this program to an end so that people can also have a rest. It's a bit too late. I want to thank all of you who have joined us tonight, and I want to wish you happy belated Easter. I know that those of us who are Christians, it was a Passover. It's a moment that we cherish. It's a moment for sober reflection. And obviously, it was also a bank holiday. Most of us had the opportunity to have some rest. And for my brothers and sisters who are Muslims, who are still experiencing a Ramadan, I also pray Allah to give you strength so that you can also go through your own fasting at this crucial time of your calendar. I want to thank each and everyone tonight. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and God richly bless you. God bless you.